Maggie.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Of course.
Are you all comfortable?
Yes.
All right, perfect. So before we get started, could you just please sign this little release waiver for me? It's just saying that you consent to being videotaped and that you understand it's like for a class project. Thank you.
What's today?
16th. All right, thank you so much. Perfect. All right, now that that's done, let me just introduce myself. I'm Sarah Vasilopoulos. I'm a dietetic student at Illinois State University, and this is for one of my major classes. It's a little counseling assessment. So why don't you tell me some more about you? What do you hope to get out of this session? Anything I can help you with today?
Yes. So for me, I'm just overall, I'm trying to be healthier on campus because I know it's easy to go to the bone and just waste whatever money and eat whatever junk food is around. So I'm just trying to make smart choices and healthier options when I'm in the dining hall and off campus too. So.
Absolutely, that is a wonderful goal. I feel like a lot of people could definitely relate to that, living on campus, being in the dining hall. So let me just say what we're going to go over in this session so you have an idea of what we're going to do. We're going to start off with a little educational activity. It's called a typical day strategy. We'll just go through what you eat, starting with when you wake up to when you go to bed. After that, we're going to go into some nutrition education, and then we're going to assess your readiness to change and do some goal setting. How does that sound?
Awesome.
All right. If at any time you're uncomfortable, you want to stop, just let me know and we'll stop it right there. Okay?
Sounds good.
Perfect. Any questions before we begin?
I don't think so.
All right. So this strategy is called a typical day. So like I said, why don't we just start with when you wake up in the morning and then go from there. So what time would you say you normally wake up?
So I usually wake up around 8 a.m. every day.
And then what do you do after you wake up?
So I wake up, I brush my teeth, get ready, and depending on how much time I have before my clinicals, I'll either make myself a cup of coffee from my Keurig in my room, and then I'll eat yogurt or some granola.
Nice.
But that's if I got up really early and I'm have extra time. Usually I don't eat breakfast every day.
Okay, for sure.
So that's kind of just occasionally. But if I did eat breakfast, that's what I would eat.
Gotcha. So you'd say typically you wouldn't eat breakfast if you weren't getting ready for clinical.
Usually not.
Okay. Then what would happen if you were, say, not eating breakfast on that day? What would you do for the rest of your day until lunch?
So after my clinicals, I usually go down to the dining hall and get lunch around 12:30 or 1, and then that I usually get I usually get a lot of food, but then depending on what they have, if it ends up being good this year, then I don't eat some, if it's not good, then I don't eat something. So I try to get more, and then I kind of decide what I want to eat from that.
Yeah.
So when I do go down, I usually go, I would say I eat pretty healthy overall, but it's the small habits that I want to change.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would say when I go to the dining hall, I need to force myself to get vegetables, at least one serving for lunch and dinner. And then at home style, depending what they have, I usually get that. And then I go look at the fruit, usually get that. And then I always get water so that I don't drink soda. Because in the beginning of the year I would drink soda. But and then I occasionally get French fries.
Would that be with dinner or more with lunch?
It kind of depends. I feel I eat the same things for lunch and dinner.
For sure.
So
with that being said, I know there's so many options. What would a typical lunch look like to you?
So typically I would get vegetables, probably a grain, either rice or sometimes they have quinoa. I usually get that, but I do like to season it up a little because sometimes it's not good plain. And then I try to get a protein too. So I try not to get the breaded chicken, But it depends what they have. They usually have chicken breast, so I would say I get that.
Sure.
And then sometimes they'll like mini salad or fruit too.
Okay. Mini salad and fruit. And what kind of fruit do you like?
So I like their grapes and cantaloupe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So after lunch, which would be about 12:30, 1 o'clock, depending, what would you do after that? for your day?
So usually I go to work in the afternoons, and that's where it kind of goes downhill. I would say I kind of tend to like snack, and like if I'm bored, which usually I'm bored at work, I snack. So
Sure.
sometimes if I'm trying to like, if I know I'm gonna be hungry later, I'll bring something that I got from lunch to eat as a snack.
Yes, I know what you
So
mean.
like sometimes I'll bring fruit, or I'll bring French fries and ranch,
For sure.
and that will be like my snack in between lunch and dinner.
Yeah, so like fruit or like
Yeah.
French fries. And what time do you normally eat that snack around?
So I would say like 3 or 4.
Okay. 4 o'clock. And then what happens after that?
So also before that, if I am tired that day, I end up getting a coffee from Starbucks.
For sure.
Or if I don't have time, I go to Subway while I'm at work.
Yeah, I hear ya.
And then I get a Diet Coke to try to wake me up,
Yeah.
even though it's not that healthy, but that's usually what happens. But then after work, I usually go to dinner around like 6 or 6:30. And then at dinner, I would say I try to get more of like a meal instead of a bunch of different snack items. So for dinner, I usually get vegetables again. I like green beans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they have broccoli too, which is good. And then I try to get rice again usually. And if they don't, well, if I'm sick of chicken, which I usually am, I'll try to get like a bigger salad to kind of like compensate for that. But it just kind of depends. Sometimes at dinner time I get like less healthy because I want to be more savory. So like sometimes I'll get like fried rice, but then I'll add like soy sauce. So yeah, sometimes at night I just get like, I don't know. I just add things to it. Depends.
Also, don't worry, this is like no judgment at all.
Yeah.
Like, we're literally just like observing, we're being curious about it, but we're not judging anything, just so you know.
It's good to like think about it because I never have actually like realized that I eat basically the same things every day.
Yeah.
So.
Would you tend to eat anything after dinner at night, or?
So, I try not to keep like snacks in my room because then that's when I would snack. But if I work late at night, then I snack again. So usually not.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
So usually dinner would be like your last meal.
Yeah.
Alright. And then you said you typically drink water throughout the day?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then sometimes a coffee or a Diet Coke, which, you know, mixing them with the water, awesome. Alright, so how do you feel after seeing everything and like kind of going through it in your head?
I feel good. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I eat healthier than I think I do. Now that I like realize to eat vegetables every day and like try to eat a basic food from like each category.
Yeah.
So, but it is like hard some days when I do snack or get coffee because then it like helps me for a little while with the caffeine, but then I really feel my body like getting slumped kind of in the afternoon. So it's good to like vocalize that and like process it because then I can realize it when I want to make those decisions next time.
Yeah, absolutely. And just from what I saw, you are eating, you know, what we would consider to be healthy. You have vegetables with not breakfast, lunch and dinner. You're eating fruit. You're eating grains with your meals. Honestly, great job. Like, I want to give you a hand because that's really good, especially, you know, for a college student living in the dorms, eating from the dining hall. Would you like to go through some of our nutritional guidelines and like
Yes.
compare them to what we got here?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So these are from My Plate. Do you know what My Plate is?
Yes, I've heard
Yeah,
of
the
it.
little graphic of like what your plate should look like. So you would probably be in like, oh, this is the second page. You'd probably be in like this category here, just in general. So for vegetables, you want to be eating about 2.5 to 3 cups a day. Do you feel like you're getting that?
Yeah, I would say so.
That's awesome. That is wonderful. And then there's like a few different categories. We got dark greens, red and orange vegetables. Legumes are counted as a vegetable, beans and peas, starchy and other, and I feel like there's normally good variety, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Fruits, we're looking at about 2 cups a day. So if you're getting 2 cups of fruits, wonderful. Grains, we got about 6 to 7 ounces.
Yeah, I would say sometimes you eat more than that.
For sure. Do you know how to like measure like what an ounce of grains is or like a serving? So like a typical bagel would be about like 3 to 4 ounces if it's like one of the bigger ones at the dining hall.
Yeah.
Normally like a half cup of rice that's cooked is like 1 ounce serving.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
So like in the dining hall boxes, the little like spots, are those like 1 to 2 ounces?
Yeah, that would be you're talking about the big containers,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, those little smaller ones on the top. That'd be about 1 to 2 depending on how much they fill it. Absolutely. And then here, that one's not good there. Got the other side. We've got dairy here. Do you eat dairy at all?
Yes, I'm trying to eat less of it because I feel like it impacts my skin.
Okay, for sure.
So I do sometimes though.
Okay, what types of dairies do you normally eat? You mentioned yogurt in the beginning?
Yeah, so like for breakfast, if I do eat breakfast, it's usually yogurt, or I've been eating like the grape nut cereal, and then I put like milk in it.
For sure.
So like a little bit of milk, or like a little bit of coffee creamer, sometimes a lot if I get Starbucks, but I like love cheese.
Alright.
So that, I feel like that's like usually where I get the most dairy.
Yeah, and that's a dairy group, so that is good. For dairy, you're wanting to look at about 3 cup equivalent. So if you're eating like 1 yogurt, that would be like 1 serving, you know. Little cube of cheese about that big would be 1 serving. And then when you say milk, what % milk do you normally use?
So I'm pretty sure I have 2%.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure I've heard that like fat-free milk isn't good for you because you do need like healthy fats.
You definitely do need healthy fats. However, I wouldn't worry about necessarily, this is just from my opinion, drinking like 1% or skim because you're still going to get that calcium and vitamin D, which is what we really look for from the dairy group. It's totally good to get your healthy fats from milk though. That's like a great place to get it from. But you're also probably getting healthy fats throughout the day too. Anything cooked in oil, avocados, stuff like that. But that is good, yeah. Dairy is a great place to get calcium and vitamin D. That's the main things we're looking for in that group. And then here we got protein. For your group, we get about 5.5 ounces to 6 ounce equivalent. Do you feel like you're meeting that usually?
Yeah, I would say so.
Alright,
depending on like the size of it.
Yeah, they say about the size of a deck of cards is a 3 ounce portion.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's about the size of the chicken breast here.
Yeah.
And then, do you normally get your protein just from meat sources, or do you get them from other sources?
Usually meat. I would say. I'm trying to think of what other foods have protein in it.
So nuts, seeds, soy products like tofu or soy milk. Also, seafood is different than like the traditional like meat.
Yeah.
Also, like beans have a bit of protein in them, legumes.
Yeah, I would say probably mostly here at the dining hall, I get like beans and protein, but then like at home, seafood, and sometimes I eat almonds in my room as a snack.
Oh, that's a good snack.
So I would say that's where I would
That's
go.
great. And then here we have oils. Like I said, most people are able to meet the oil requirement just based on like anything that's fried or cooked in oil tends to add up faster than you think. But yeah, great job with that, honestly. So from here, I was thinking we could work on some goal setting. How does that sound?
Good.
Oh, actually, before the goal setting, I want to also talk about exercise because that's also a great component to a healthy lifestyle that goes along with eating. So what does exercise look like to you, or physical activity rather?
So this semester, since I've been busier and I've been working more, I have kind of been more focused on like the mindfulness aspect. So I've started to do like yoga videos in my room occasionally, like from YouTube, and like stretching. I'm in clinicals for elementary ed, so I do participate in the gym class that we have.
Oh, that's so fun.
So I would say, honestly, that's like a pretty good workout, like the videos that the gym teachers play. And then we do like stretching when we do brain breaks.
Nice.
But other than that, I haven't like actively gone out and like worked out at the fitness center this semester, but in past semesters I have.
Mhm.
So I feel like it kind of just depends on like where I am in life at
For
that
sure.
moment, I feel like, so.
Yeah, and I should have just said physical activity from the
Yeah.
beginning, because even just like walking, and I know we're
Yeah.
not doing a lot of walking right now because things are all online,
Mhm.
but you know, anywhere you walk to is physical activity. Stretching and yoga is wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so good. I'm really glad you're doing that. And I could imagine that doing
Yeah.
gym on Zoom would be kind
It's
of a
really
lot.
hard, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So then let's get into some goals. Were there any areas that you personally felt like you wanted to improve on when you came here today?
Yes. So I really want to like watch how much dairy I'm consuming,
Okay.
because I noticed that it like makes me feel sluggish,
Mhm.
and it like really affects my skin. So I would say watching my dairy, and then also I want to incorporate more like fermented foods into my diet.
Oh, interesting.
So I almost got sauerkraut today at the dining hall, but I didn't think it would be like high quality because I don't know like the source of it, you know?
Mhm.
So, but I love drinking kombucha. It's just kind of expensive, but
Yeah.
yeah, I love fermented foods. So like sauerkraut I love. Anything like that's pickled or fermented,
Yeah.
because I know it helps with like gut health.
Yeah.
So that's just hard because obviously I'm on a budget and I'm in the dorms, so I can only do so much with that right now. But
Absolutely.
definitely in the future I want to like
Yeah.
add that into my diet too.
So you're interested in like gut health specifically?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would be hard to get like fermented things here. We don't really,
Yeah.
from my experience, we don't really have like kimchi or any like
Yeah.
traditional fermented things. But what I would suggest as a good alternative for right now would be
Mhm.
increasing your whole grains. That'll help a lot with your digestion,
Mhm.
your colon. It really helps exercise it and keep your
Okay.
gut health good. Would that be a goal you'd be interested
Yes. So like when I'm in the dining hall, would that be like whole grain rice
in? Mhm.
and like the quinoa?
Yeah, so
Okay.
like the brown rice that they have,
Yeah.
quinoa, whole wheat bagels, any of the
Mhm.
whole wheat pastas would all be really good
Yeah.
options. There's some cereals that have whole wheat too. I
Okay.
think the one you mentioned earlier might be.
Yeah,
If
the
I'm correct.
grape nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Another resource that I have for you here is about eating healthy on
Mhm.
campus, and one of the things in that, where is it right here? It's talking about choosing whole grains. So
Mhm.
ideally you want to make about half the grains you eat whole grains, and I think that'll really help with your digestive health and just your health in general, if you're interested
Yeah,
in that.
that's helpful.
Okay, increase whole grains, half grains per day are whole.
So, would that, like, so white rice, I know it's, like, not good for you, but does it have, like, any nutritional value?
So white rice is a carbohydrate, which is your
Yeah.
brain's like preferred source of fuel. So
Uh-huh.
it definitely gives you energy. It's a food that just helps fuel your body.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily unhealthy. The only difference between white and brown rice is that you're stripping like the bran from it.
Yeah.
The bran is the fiber. That's what you want
Okay.
for your digestive health. So if you were to choose brown rice over white, you'd be getting that extra fiber,
Okay.
that extra whole grain. White rice is just stripped of that. So
Okay.
just has less like of the
Yeah.
whole grain benefit, but it still fuels you,
Mhm.
keeps you going. All right, so you're interested in maybe reducing your dairy because of your face, you said,
Mhm.
and maybe makes you feel a little bit sluggish.
Mhm.
The only concern that I would have with like cutting dairy is that you're not getting enough calcium per se.
Mhm.
But you can get calcium from other foods too.
Okay.
Tofu and soy products are usually fortified. Cereals usually fortified with calcium. Also, some darker vegetables like kale, greens have calcium as well.
What about like spinach?
I don't think spinach does.
No,
I could be
okay.
wrong though. It might. Spinach
Okay.
is good for like iron though too.
Yeah.
So definitely if you want to increase those foods to make sure you're still getting enough calcium, so maybe like increase. Do you like tofu or soy products?
I've never tried tofu.
Okay.
Maybe I should tonight.
Yeah, definitely try it and see if you like it. Or soy products, the milks they have like the dairy-free yogurts in that fridge down there. Tempeh, I really like tempeh. Oh, tempeh is fermented soy, by the way, so that's
I've never heard
a
of
good
that.
option.
Also, I've heard of kimchi, but I don't know what it is.
It's like fermented vegetables. I just don't
Like
remember
the-
what vegetables.
Is it like the outside? Like, is it? I don't know how to explain it.
It's used in Asian cooking a lot.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit spicy. It's really good. I actually like it a lot. But I don't remember the exact vegetable that they ferment in it.
Okay.
But all right, so right now we just have two goals to maybe reduce the dairy, but still make sure you're getting enough calcium, and then increasing your whole grains. Is there anything else you'd be interested in working on? Does that sound good?
I also want to work on like the time of day that I eat. So like not eating past a certain time.
Okay. Is there a reason why?
Yeah, because I would say when I do eat like snack foods or like junk foods, I like wake up more and then I can't go to sleep.
Okay, interesting.
So it like affects my sleep, and then like I feel gross and like greasy and like it just doesn't make me feel good when I eat that late at night. But I also don't want to like not eat when I'm hungry. So it's kind of like it just depends on the situation.
I don't know if you ever heard this before, but if you start your day off by eating like a nutritious like big breakfast with protein, whole grains, it actually helps you to make not necessarily better food choices because food isn't good or bad, but it helps you to not want to snack as much throughout the day because you're starting your day off nourishing your body right off the bat. So maybe to try and eat breakfast more regularly, it'll help you regulate your hunger throughout the rest of the day, and you won't feel the need to snack as much.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Plus, like, that's why I try to drink water too, to kind of like flush all the toxins out and like not snack as much. So
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want to, not eat if you're hungry. You want to honor your hunger and honor your body by fueling yourself. But I think maybe eating breakfast in the morning would be a good way to just start you off, start your metabolism up right in the morning, and then keep you going throughout the day.
Yeah.
And you'll have that fuel right when you wake up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. All right. So now that we've made these goals, I'm gonna do this tool called readiness to change. And basically what we're going to do is pretend like it's a ruler, starts at 0 and goes to 10. On a scale of 0 to 10, how ready are you to make these changes? How confident are you? 0 being not at all and 10 being like you're 100% ready.
I would say like an 8.
Okay, great. So when you said an 8, why was it not any lower? Why did you choose an 8?
So I would say I really want to implement all these things in my life. But the only thing that's like holding me back is the money aspect and like the options in the dining hall.
Yeah.
So like the current situation. Also because I know I'm gonna be going home for the holidays soon. So that kind of like makes me wanna like wait to start until like the new year. Like the stereotypical like, I don't know, just like waiting till after the holidays because I know it's gonna affect my diet and like my eating habits.
For sure.
So that's why it would be a 10, but other than that, I'm like totally ready.
Okay, that's wonderful. So then, what has worked for you in the past when you have decided to eat more of like a certain food, or maybe like check out like how much dairy you're eating? What has worked for you in the past?
So in the past, when I've kind of gotten like health kicks, I would say it's really helped me to like work out honestly, because then I feel so refreshed, like my body feels good. And then I don't want to waste that workout on like the bad, not like bad foods, but like the unhealthier choices.
Sure.
So when I would work out in the past, like here at school, in the dining hall, I would always go for like salads and like put the chicken breast on my salad, and like I would always be drawn to like the healthier foods, just like my brain would like just gravitate towards that. So I feel like that is like a big factor in that, and also like keeping keeping myself in check. Like when I go to grab or like buy a junk food, well, now I'm on a flex, so I can't. So that is gonna help me. But other than that, just like stopping or like drinking water when I want to get a Diet Coke, just like replacing something that I'm like craving for something that's better.
For sure. Yeah, so maybe making some of those healthier switches.
Yeah.
Alright, well that's really awesome, and I feel like that's something, would you consider that to be attainable? To, choose a water instead of like a Diet Coke or a coffee?
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Alright, and then, so why don't we just develop our action plan right now? So your first goal was to maybe like, not limit your dairy intake, but just watch and see how you're feeling with it.
Yeah.
So what would be a reasonable, attainable like number of dairy or like a few items of dairy that you would want to eat per day?
I would say, well, I would say maybe like 1 or 2 dairy incorporated items. So like, I really love getting like cream in my coffee. So if I'm gonna get that one day, especially if it's like a venti from Starbucks, then I probably wouldn't eat dairy in like in other ways in my meals.
Sure.
But then if I don't, then maybe I would get like sour cream with like my Mexican food and like my nachos. So then I would like incorporate like that part of dairy.
Okay,
So.
yeah. So you want to do maybe like 1 to 2 items?
Yeah. Just
Okay,
like
for sure.
seeing how I feel, and like if I feel overloaded, sometimes when I eat too much like cheese and like greasiness, then I don't want to eat dairy.
Yeah.
So it kind of just depends on the food.
For sure. Okay, I hear you with that one. That seems like reasonable for you to do. Alright,
Yeah.
perfect. And then our second goal was to increase whole grains. So do you feel like it would be reasonable to make about half of your grains per day whole?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely like
perfect.
knowing now what counts as whole grains, that'll be helpful when I like go to get food tonight.
Perfect. And then the last one was you don't want to be snacking too much at night and then feeling kind of bad when you wake up in the morning. So we're saying eating breakfast in the morning would help you throughout the day. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, definitely.
You could get up and eat breakfast.
Mhm.
And then actually if you needed help figuring out what to eat for breakfast, I also have a little info sheet on that that just has some ideas that would include like protein, a fruit, maybe some dairy, but you could also choose a non-dairy option if you wanted, just as a way to like start your day off on the right foot.
Awesome.
All right. So I really am proud of our session today. I think you've been doing a really good job, even if you didn't know it. I'm really glad that activity helped you see. You're including fruits and vegetables. You're overall doing a really good job.
Thank you.
And I think the goals you picked are very measurable and attainable for you. If you want to maybe keep a journal throughout the next few weeks and just see how you're feeling, especially with like the dairy, and trying maybe like tofu or other calcium-rich foods. See how you feel with the whole grains, with your digestive health, and then with breakfast. And then maybe we get back together in about 2 weeks to see how we're doing. Does that sound good?
That sounds good. I'm excited to start.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Maggie. You've been a pleasure to have today.
Thanks, Sarah.
I'm going to send you back with these
Okay.
so that you have them for reference. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks.